Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Persona video. Today I'm going to be talking about kind of my wish list and predictions for Persona 6. And it's a good thing I'm coming out with this video now because, well, it might be a good thing because a lot of people are saying that Persona 6 is actually going to be announced soon. So even though it's technically kind of been announced, but not technically, it hasn't, not officially, but there was that statement that was given to the shareholders, and they have talked about kind of that they are making a Persona 6, just not officially. They haven't released a trailer, obviously. When that comes out, I'll probably be doing a deep dive into that. And really quick, I'm just going to get into the video, but before that happens, like and subscribe if you want Persona content. Consider supporting a small YouTuber like me. You can comment down below what kind of videos you want to see, what I did wrong. Like the video if you like the video, dislike it if you dislike it. I just asked that. If you did dislike the video, what did you dislike about it? Comment that, please. That'd be greatly appreciated. So, this is sort of my wish list / predictions for Persona 6. I won't be talking about everything about Persona 6, mostly just kind of what I want. Obviously, like a lot of people, it's pretty well known now that most people think that the game is going to has a green theme to it, like the color green. Because when we look at all the colors that we've had, you have like Persona 3 was blue, Persona 4 was yellow, Persona 5 was red, so Persona 6 kind of makes sense that it would be green, kind of the opposite of Persona 4, which was yellow. Kind of makes sense. But these are just kind of some things that I think are likely going to happen. Some of these things have been talked about in some of the leaks that I've seen. But I also think some of the leaks are kind of obvious. Like the whole green color thing, like that's pretty obvious that they might be going that direction because there was that picture that was shown that had the green paint bucket and stuff like that. So it wouldn't really surprise me if there was green in it. I guess that's kind of dumb way of saying it, but yeah, it wouldn't really surprise me, but the first thing I think that's actually very possible and probably going to happen is I think it's probably going to be an open world game, which might be kind of weird because I feel like a big part of Persona is to have like those cutscenes, like the one that's playing right now. So now that I'm saying it, it might not actually be open world. They might still have cutscenes, but they could definitely have cutscenes. You know what I mean? But I feel like open world, I feel like it makes sense because they're saying that Persona 6 is going to be like a massive jump. So I guess it would kind of make sense that Persona 6 would be open world because, and a lot of people are saying, I have it also on the script here, but people were saying that it's going to be like an action game, kind of like what the Yakuza series did, which I don't know, man. Maybe that's just my personal thing, but I really like just JRPGs just because I don't really have to like try super hard. Like it's just kind of uses my mind, like the turn-based games. I don't really like I guess not all JRPGs are turn-based games, but you know what I'm trying to say. I like turn-based games because they're just easy. You know what I mean? They're just easy to play, and they're fun, and I can kind of just relax without like stressing out and doing button inputs and stuff like that. It's kind of a game you can just relax. I find Persona to be a very relaxing game. But also, so I also have on here reality versus fiction, and kind of like one of the things is that like at Persona 3 and 4, they have like the area maps are based on like real places, but they're not actually real places. You know what I mean? So, whereas like in Persona 5, everywhere you go is real, like Shibuya and all that place, like they have their little names. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure. I'm not an expert on Japan, like in any way. Definitely not geographically. I would love to go to Japan one day. I'm trying to go to Japan one day, but I guess from like a geographic way, it'd be interesting to see like where haven't they explored yet. You know, that would be interesting. It'd also be cool if it didn't even take place in Japan. Low key, that would be kind of cool. I doubt that would happen though. But also, like, so I guess if they follow the trends, like you have Persona 3, right? Persona 3 takes place in a city, right? And then Persona 4 is like a small town, and then Persona 5 is like more of the big city type stuff. So if they follow the trend, that Persona 6 should take place in a small town, which would be interesting. But I don't know. I think a lot of people I think Persona 5, it's like one of the issues with Persona 6 is Persona 5 is just so good. Persona 4 is great too. I'm going to make a video just talking about how good Persona 4 is. Because I've put a lot of people on a Persona 4, and it's a really good game, man. I mean, obviously Persona 5 is an amazing game as well, but Persona 4 has this kind of air around it. It has like a aura around it. I mean, Persona 5 has the same thing, but it's just different, you know? So it would be interesting to see like that small town kind of thing come back in Persona 6, that kind of small town homey, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, I can't remember. But that kind of feeling, you know, of like small town, warm, nice kind of feeling that you don't necessarily get with Persona 5. But anyways, if it is open world, they would probably need some way to travel besides, I mean, you could take the train, obviously. I think that would kind of help, but also like give the ability to, like, I wrote on here, I don't know why this really isn't important, it's just a random thing, but like riding a bike or a skateboard, like kind of like Pokemon, you have a bike and you can run. And I think the other games, they added like skates and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then so male and female playable characters, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for a lot of people, including myself. And you can also add like, you could add the romance options. I also have it written down here. More romance options. So male on male and female on female romance options. Look, guys, it's 2025. I almost said 2024, but it is 2025. We need more romance options. It's time. That's like been one of the main things that I've seen for a long time with Persona, is people complaining that you can't be, you know, gay or whatever in Persona. And I think it's fair. I think it's fair because, especially like in Persona 3 and the other Persona games before Persona 4, you could play as a male or female. So at that point, it's like, why not just add other options? Like, I don't know, like I understand like Persona 4 and then Persona 5. Like Persona 5 is a huge game, don't get me wrong. Persona 5 is massive. It's so big to where I almost like understand why they didn't go in that direction, just because there's so much stuff. But I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't know, like to be able to actually choose, like even if you're a guy, yeah, you can romance, and a lot of other games allow that now. Like Baldur's Gate is a huge one, you know. Cyberpunk, that's another huge one. So there's like a ton of games now that, pretty much every game now that allows you to do different romance options allows you to romance both men and women, no matter what gender you are. Persona is like the last stronghold on that. They don't want you to be gay. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that's a big deal for a lot of people. And also, it begs the question, like, if you did have a male and female protagonist, would you have like a different story for each one? And that they kind of did that in the original Persona 3. that I know of. I haven't played the original Persona 3, to be fair. Persona 3 Portable or whatever. But I think that kind of just goes into like the romance options and stuff like that, because honestly, if you let players choose what gender they are, you don't really have, you can make it easier if you just let people be gay, because then you don't have to have a different story. You don't have to have different romance options. You can have the same romance options for both genders. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like just let people choose boys and girls and whatever they want to be, and then let them date whoever they want to date. It's 2025. Gosh. But, oh, and then this is my prediction. This is like a tinfoil hat. I feel like this could be his own video, but this is my tinfoil hat theory on Persona 6. And if I'm right, hey, look, I predicted it, I guess. But I think Persona 6, tinfoil hat, this is going crazy. This is basically the theme, right? Because people talk about, the black and white theme, like the yin and yang. That's so basic to me. It's like, I don't know. That to me just seems fake. I feel like if we want to get really specific, and I mean, if I'm right, then I guess it's a spoiler, but I feel like Persona 6 is going to be based around a video game. And so you might ask, well, why do I think that? And that's like really random. Well, it's not, because if you look back at it, Persona 4, what was the big theme around Persona 4? It was the TV. They had the TV world, right? And then Persona 5, what was it? They had the app on the phone. So what if Persona 6 pulls some like Sword Art Online shit, and you start going into a freaking video game, or like a video game world, and they do like some straight up Sword Art Online shit, or some kind of like new technology that's come out. And I feel like it would just be super meta, because obviously like AI is huge right now in the news. And I feel like Persona, if you look back at it, it kind of like follows the time. Like you go back to like Persona 4, then Persona 5. Like Persona 5 is still a very meta game, and especially when it came out, like Persona 5 is kind of known for being meta. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a big deal. So I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like it makes sense. Like you could have, it would make sense. It would be super meta, but I feel like it's just right on par. And that's just like a super off the wall tinfoil hat, like a Hail Mary long shot kind of idea. But it's just an idea, right? And it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a natural progression, right? Because you go from the TV in Persona 4, the phone in Persona 5, and then video games in Persona 6 are like some kind of VR. It could also be like an arcade machine maybe they go into instead of like the TV from Persona 4. But it would also be cool if like, so my idea is that there's a game that basically comes out and it gets more and more popular as the game goes on, and then so more and more people are playing it, and it kind of reflects like that, the thing in Persona 3 where like as you play, like there's that disease, or the not the disease, but the thing where people are acting all weird and shit like that. I forget, but you have like that kind of thing happening. I think that'd be really interesting, like as the game gets more popular. And then a metaverse adjacent idea. I didn't realize like how useful the metaverse was until I played Persona 5. Like Persona 5, you realize like how great the metaverse is. Because I played Persona 5, then I played Persona 4, and then I played Persona 3, and so now I'm replaying Persona 5, but just having a way to like grind is just like, so it's a lifesaver. It really is a lifesaver. So I'm really like glad that they did that, and I hope they bring something back like that just to make the game a little bit easier, especially if you're playing on a harder difficulty. Alright, y'all, my bad. You're about to see a massive drop in the camera quality because, like I said, this is my first YouTube video. I'm still getting everything figured out. But I just wanted to, I wanted to keep talking because there's a little bit more that I have to talk about. Not too much, but again, sorry for the bad video quality at the end here. But I'm gonna try and get some more gameplay recorded just so I have like a stockpile of gameplay that I can use. Anyways, we talked about the phone or the video game stuff, and then the metaverse idea. I feel like that would also kind of play into like the video game thing. Like, I know it's meta, but like you're grinding in this game slash metaverse while you're also grinding in a game in real life because you're playing Persona. I know it's meta, but honestly, I haven't really seen a game outside of like the only thing I can think about is Sword Art Online. And I didn't even like, when I thought about that idea, I wasn't even thinking of Sword Art Online, and then I realized Sword Art Online had already done it. So, anyways, and then guns, like, are they gonna? I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like Persona 5 is very weird, right? Like, when you look at it, Persona 5 is actually super weird compared to other games in the series. And I didn't know that because I started with Persona 5. For Persona 5, you have, like, obviously, like, the sneaking and the guns and the hostage and all that stuff. But, like, or not the hostage, but the interrogation, when you down an enemy and you, like, can interrogate them or whatever. Like, no other Persona game has that, and it's for a very specific reason. That Persona 5 has like a very specific theme, and it's this idea of like the Phantom Thieves. So it would make sense that if you're a thief, then you're gonna have to be able to hide, and you're gonna have to be able to, use a gun, interrogate, and do all this stuff. So it kind of makes sense. But if Persona 6 doesn't have that same kind of, obviously Persona 6, I don't see, like, Persona 6 is not going to be about the Phantom Thieves. You know what I mean? Because it just makes no sense. Every Persona game is kind of detached from the other one, and I like that. But if you have Persona 6, that's not, like, you're not a thief, or you're not, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense to have, like, an interrogation type deal where you hold somebody at gunpoint, because, like, that makes no sense. Like, imagine one of the characters from Persona 4 or Persona 3 doing that. Like, that'd be ridiculous. So, I don't know, man. And then I have another thing on here about completely new genre, because, again, I think I talked about this before, but I have heard some people talk about that Persona's going to do something like the Yakuza series did, where they went in, like, two different directions, where Yakuza's not like a JRPG, but it's a game where there's like combat and fighting, but then they changed it into like a turn-based game. And then sorry, that was really loud. And then they made it, the side series that they created is the new action game. So some people are saying that's what Persona 6 is going to be, but I doubt it, because like they had the Persona 5, what was the Persona game, but the Persona 5 Strikers, that's kind of like the spin-off, equivalent. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see Persona doing that. And to be honest, I don't see Persona having a female protagonist option either. And a lot of people are also saying, this is going off script, but a lot of people are also saying that Persona is going to be like, you're going to be able to play as an adult, and you're going to be able to play, you're a college student and all this stuff. You're an adult. Like, I feel like people need to separate their fan service ideas from what is actually probably going to happen, because why would they do that? Like, ATLUS is a company. They know how to print money with these games, okay? They're going to just keep producing the same thing. Like, newsflash, here's the best prediction I have. Persona 6 is going to be, like all the other Persona games, it's going to be about a young teenage boy that moves into a new home, and he unlocks these new powers. That's pretty much all Persona games are at the end of the day. And it's going to be a turn-based game. He's going to meet new people, and he's going to have, he's going to, get this party and stuff like that. And there's going to be some cute character, like, a cat or an owl or a dog, or a teddy bear. Like it's gonna be the same, pretty much the same thing. Like let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, the story's gonna be different, but it's basically the same. You know what I mean? It's basically the same. It's like a Call of Duty. Like every Call of Duty is basically the same thing. It's gonna be the same as pretty much every Persona game, and I don't have a problem with that. I would just like female protagonists because they've already done that before, and I don't know. Maybe there's just certain things in the story like I don't know. I guess they've had like bits and stuff like that, you know, and I don't know. It's something to think about, I guess. But I'm rambling anyways. So I think that's about it. I covered pretty much everything. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this video. It's my first YouTube video. Sorry for the shitty camera or quality at the end, but I hope you enjoy. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.